Let this go first. Thank you.
No audio, Rob.
Okay. We have it subtitled, so I'm going to let it play that way because I don't want to go messing with the settings and take up people's time. Yep. So apologies about the sound there, but I think the message there is just to show you what the forum is about. So we're going to move on. I would just first of all, questions and answers. You can raise them through the chat. And thanks to Dr. Kira Lavelle for organising and doing moderator for this session as well. For those of you that aren't aware, this session is actually being recorded. And we'll talk at the end of it about future events that are coming up in the next few weeks as well. So I'm going to hand you over to Connor Dawson. When I say partners, and Connor is one of the top lean practitioners in the country, and he's going to talk to us about how to sustain lean, which is probably the biggest challenge we all have as lean practitioners, but it's probably the most rewarding aspect of it too, is to make that transformation in the workplace. So Connor, I will hand over to yourself, and looking forward to hearing your insights. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. And hopefully people can see my screen okay. And I'm going to drive on.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks very much, Rob. And I'm very humbled to be asked to share some of my insights, being the lofty position that you've given me of being one of the top practitioners in the country. I'll leave others to decide that, but thank you nonetheless. I suppose just before I start, the lean and operational excellence community in Ireland is quite unique. It's very open, collaborative, and I would say world leading. The main reason for that, in my view, is that there's a very strong and enduring link between the pillars of education and academia, industry, government agencies, and consultants, allowing us all to don the green jersey and push Ireland Inc.'s credentials towards excellence. I see Robert Hernan from Enterprise Ireland is on the call, and there really is a large resource available to most organisations by way of funding and expertise, and engaging with your local enterprise office will help you unlock this. So please reach out to Robert, Rory O'Haleen, and all the LEOs to help you on your journey. Sustaining lean for me is all about alignment and leadership, ensuring that the lean journey is owned and deployed by the senior management team, and that all departments are aligned to this. Unfortunately, many organizations find themselves gone off the boil, stale, or even struggling to get heard given the changing nature of business priorities. So after I introduce me and my company, I'll share with you further insights on sustaining lean. So who am I? I'm a senior consultant with SA Partners. I've been a CI manager for 23 years in industry, particularly in the fast-moving commodity goods sector. I spent 20 years of that in Musgrave Group, managing large and diverse change management programs and teams. I have a lot of expertise built up over the years, specifically around lean and innovation. And I've enjoyed a lot of good relationships with many on the call actually over the years. And currently I'm working in quite a diverse range of clients in the food industry, in manufacturing, med-tech and med-device, financial services, dairy production, automotive and digital media. So a fine range of sectors there, and definitely enough to keep me very interested and engaged in continuous improvement and lean. So please feel free to reach out and link in with me on LinkedIn. And look, I'm only going to obviously it's a short lunchtime session here. We're going to finish at 1:30 on time. So there'll be some things that I've kind of brushed over today. Please feel free to log on to our website, www.sapartners.com, where you'll see further info on some of the services and offers we have available to help bring you on your journey. So who are SA Partners? So we're a consultancy that started life in the UK, in Wales, where there was a lot of heavy automotive industry being heavily influenced by Japan and the lean thinking that was coming across from Japan, predominantly owned by Toyota at the time, in terms of the lean philosophies and so on. So anybody, and I know there's a lot of students on the call today, lean and its genesis would obviously have a lot of Japanese influences and Eastern influences. And I suppose the creation of SA Partners came about in making ready the Welsh and the UK Western Seaboard, supporting industries around the automotive industry at that time. The company has grown, and thankfully it's one of the leading consultancies in this area globally. We have offices in the US, the UK, Central Europe, and in Australia. And I'm very proud to be part of the team. John Quirk, who will be quite a well-known figure in the life sciences sector, has recently been awarded a Shingo Prize for some of his thought leadership on TPM. And Noel Hennessy, who a lot of people would know locally, who's a proud Waterford man, very well known from his time in New Ross in Lake Region Medical, who were the first Shingo Prize winners in Ireland. I can count those two individuals as colleagues and close friends, and I'm very humbled to be learning from the likes of that caliber of individual amongst our ranks. So in terms of what we do, we support businesses on their journey, and I'm going to talk about typically what we would do in terms of that support. You see two models on the screen there. One is our enterprise excellence model, and the other is the improvement journey model, or the squiggly line as it's affectionately known. And I'll explain what those mean in terms of deployment in a minute. So look, the topic here that we're talking about today is sustaining lean. And what I'm going to talk about might come across as kind of how you might start, but I'm going to really emphasize in the nature of sustainment. So SA Partners, the enterprise excellence model that I flashed up there earlier and that you can see now, gets its inspiration from prize-winning books that our founding partners have written, called Staying Lean and the Lean Business Model, and they are aligned to the Shingo Institute in Utah in the US. This model creates a framework for sustainable improvement and has customers at its heart, surrounded by purpose, or the why, process, the what, and people, obviously, in the how. More importantly, the model is connected by a line, which is engage and improve, ensuring organizations continually improve and motivate their people. And that's very important here, that this should be seen as a kind of a circular thing where we continue to kind of go around the three bubbles, if you like. The model is the core thinking behind the research of the top 100 best performing companies within the Shingo Prize-winning book, The Essence of Excellence. And the second model, which is the squiggly line, a little bit more on it there now. We would combine what we're trying to do on the enterprise excellence model with this model, and we would basically typically assess a company where you are at on your journey. So on foot of that assessment, we would plot on the squiggly line where you are. So if you find yourself in the reactive zone, typically you need to kind of strive for stability behaviors. You're very volatile, and you need to kind of stabilize things and get things on an even keel. You could be process centric, and the focus will be on customers and purpose alignment along with process improvement. In the kind of the lighter shade of green, you're now in a proactive area, and you want to kind of really go after velocity behaviors. You want to have improvement systems, and then you want to move into the excellence zone, which is where I suppose you really can get deeper into things like innovation, process centric, and major focus on all elements to ensure that you've got dynamic continuous improvement and giving everybody enterprise alignment and excellence. So there's a lot in that, and there's a lot to unpack there. So I'm just going to kind of, typically what we would see is people need a starting point. And when we're talking about sustaining lean, often you kind of need to re-energize or kind of get going again. And that's no harm, because we do need to refresh. Currently, we find ourselves in an environment where there's a war on talent, is a kind of a cliche out there at the moment, but there's a lot of churn, particularly within the capability of organizations as people have moved and migrated around different roles. So we need to kind of build our levels of capability again. So you might have a burning platform that is around people. So if you look at the left-hand corner of the enterprise excellence model, you may need to start with a kind of a people-centric focus on getting people bought into it. And how you get people bought into it is really is making people aware of why they get out of bed in the morning and work for the company that they're working for. People really want to feel connected in the purpose of the organization. And that, for us, when we're deploying a lean program or a lean initiative or enterprise excellence, absolutely the purpose is the main kind of reason why all these initiatives will succeed and sustain. Obviously, everything is customer focused, and it's within the intersections where the real magic happens, where people engage with your purpose, they align with your processes, and then they're focused on a continuous improvement cycle to deliver for your customers. But what does that mean for us? What does it mean for my role? So typically, when you're talking about strategy, it can be very up here in terms of people's understanding. And to make it meaningful and impactful for people on the ground, we would say that you need to deploy critical success factors. These are the must-win battles that every organization needs to be kind of on the hook for to deliver a winning strategy. We would call these critical success factors interwoven into a tiered management system. And I'm going to bring you through what a tiered management system would look like. So many organizations might have versions of this, and this isn't me kind of preaching on what you should be, it's just what you could be in terms of sustaining your lean initiative. So firstly, obviously, you have your strategic formation, and that's composed and, I suppose, evolved by the strategic leadership team within the organization. Through the kind of the diagnosis of what that strategy might mean for people, you then arrive at your critical success factors, of which there should be no more than 5. These should be 5 statements by which you hang all of your activity and your improvement and your success in terms of your customer and everything else that is associated with the success of the organization, those 5 key critical success factors. There will be existing KPIs that you already measure and report on for company performance. But while you deploy your new critical success factors, there'll obviously be some new KPIs associated with those. Each tier then within the organization needs to have an appropriate level of KPI or metrics associated with the critical success factor. So every level or tier in the organization needs to have an appropriate KPI that cascades down or escalates up the metric or the performance of that area. This then should be managed through a system of visible management. So you surface your problems, you make them visible to everybody, and you build the capability of all the employees and all of the people responsible for solving problems so that they can solve them themselves. The most effective lean organizations are those that everybody can understand how to solve a problem, that they have the tools and capability in which to do that, and they have the space in which the training and the tools were given to them in the appropriate manner. This is then supported by the leadership team having a kind of a daily, weekly and monthly and annual cadence around making sure that all of this stuff is sticking. So there's a lot going on in this slide, and ultimately what this system will do is it acts as the backbone or the spine for your lean deployment and for your continued sustaining of the lean system within your organization. So that sounds, it's easier said than done, right? And a lot of lean transformations fail, unfortunately, and it's because they don't have this spine propping up the whole system to make it work. And thankfully I've kind of witnessed this both in industry and in my old role in Musgrave, but I've also seen it come to fruition in organizations where they really stick to kind of making this work, and the tool deployment and the tool training that supports lean deployment within the organization then builds the capability levels of everybody. And it's a very important and useful way to deploy your lean agenda or your lean program.
Yeah, Connor,
So,
can I can I just come in there? We have Miriam Keogh has raised her hand. I think she has a question. Is that okay?
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's a mistake.
Miriam,
If
do you
I
want
have no, I've no questions. Sorry about that. Sorry, Mr. Had my mouse over the.
Right, sorry about that.
Oh, God, I beg your pardon. Sorry, Connor.
You're grand, no problem. We'll have a chat at the end. I just keep going.
We will. Sorry about that.
Yeah, perfect. No hassle, no hassle. So in terms of sustaining lean, for me, it's all about discipline and particularly the leadership of the organization. You need to make sure that, airing your dirty washing or surfacing your problems is okay, because they're the very frustrations that are palpable for everybody in the organization. So surfacing the issues and making sure that they're resolved at the right level will ensure buy-in from all levels of the organization, but leadership need to be brave and step up here. They need to make sure that the skills are maintained across the population in the organization. And while we're surfacing our issues, we want to make performance of how those issues are, being closed out. We want to make that visible as well. You do this by going to Gemba regularly. So for those of you who don't know what Gemba is a Japanese phrase for where the work or the activity of the organization happens. So oftentimes leadership can be accused of living in their ivory tower and not coming down onto the floor and engaging with what's going on really. So effective organizations who do this well have a very visible leadership who come down to the floor and support the performance of every area and compassionately challenge and offer support where appropriate. Celebrate your wins as well. It's very important that leadership get behind, backing winners, making sure that the projects that people are involved in get over the line and deliver the success, and celebrate that success with the teams involved. The right KPIs are also very important. Sometimes, the biggest enemy of sustaining CI or lean is that we've always done it that way. It's hard to find a better way. So that comes to the fore in terms of KPIs and measuring the right things. Sometimes we inherit KPIs that, it might have been associated with an old ERP system or an old way of doing stuff. And we need to kind of reanalyze, are the KPIs that we're currently using, are they the right measurements for what we're currently delivering for our customers? How you get there is using effective visual management. So deploying the 1-3-10 rule. So for those of you who don't know what the 1-3-10 rule is, in 1 second, I want to know if we're winning or losing. In 3 seconds, I want to know if there's a trend happening. And in 10 seconds, I want to know what we're doing about it. And making sure that there's timely check-ins on projects, particularly by those leaders, as I mentioned. And then you might say, well, that's all very well, Connor, but, what does excellence look like? Where can I find a company that espouses some of the stuff that you're talking about? Well, there's a lot of companies out there, folks, who are doing excellently. Some of them are on the call today, and please do feel free to reach out to the network to organize some one-to-one time, or perhaps some visits to certain local industries. But to give you an example, I recently had a chat with Kevin Heffernan in Jabil Healthcare up in Bray. They're the most recent Irish Shingo Prize winners last year, and a fantastic achievement for a long-standing site in Ireland. And what Kevin kind of spoke about on the day was, he actually gets angsty about, we've won a Shingo Prize, I hope it won't go stale on us. And the systems that he's kind of insistent upon is that everything is visible and everybody is on the hook for it, as I mentioned earlier. It's everyone, every day, everywhere. And as you can see from this fantastic visual management representation here, when you walk into Jabil Healthcare in Bray, it's everywhere in terms of what you can see. And it's not just all pretty signage. It's all of the problems that they're working on currently. It's live projects, and people are very happy to bring you through, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly of what they're working on, which I think really shows the humility in what sets that company apart from perhaps others. So again, I'd ask you to, if you wanted to, there's actually a video from Kevin and the team. If you search on YouTube for Jabil Healthcare Shingo Prize, you'll be able to watch that. It's really, really insightful. So look, just in summary, I believe every organization needs to create organizational habits to ensure lean and CI is the focus for all. With the challenges regarding the recruitment of talent, retention and engagement currently, people must be engaged in the purpose of the organization. They must feel part of something. Annual assessment of mature.
Do you know where she stores kitchen roll? Yeah, I couldn't
Sorry, can
find
somebody
it.
put that person on mute?
Sorry, could there's somebody there?
I can't hear there, sorry. We okay?
Honor, you're on mute.
Sorry, I muted that by mistake. I was muting everybody else. Sorry.
Here you know, Connor.
Thank you. So people must be engaged in the purpose of the organization. They must feel part of something. Annual assessment of maturity, clearly defined projects, daily reminders supported by the right systems and owned by leadership will help ensure that lean is sustained. You know, there's an old adage, you get what you tolerate. And that's very true. And leaders must step up more in terms of making sure that lean is to the forefront. It's, you know, it's a very noble endeavor to make sure that everybody feels part of the solution to the problems that they see every day. Improving the work should become the work. And that's a very subtle and nuanced way of saying that everybody is responsible for the improvement. And again, lean should not be you know, any individual's responsibility. It should be everybody's responsibility, and it should be seen beyond tools. We are all responsible for embedding lean through the cadence of meetings, reviews, and through the plan, do, check, act cycle. And you should then every year add and align and get deeper into the circles as I have them displayed there. So look, that's just a short whistle stop tour. My apologies for a couple of the interruptions. I'm happy to take any questions that might have popped up in the chat while I was presenting. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, Connor, that was great. So we had a couple of questions that came up. Now that's just Rebecca here. So Brian Byrne just said, what is one of the key nuggets of information that you offer to someone from your very long and very varied experience?
In terms of deploying lean or sustaining lean?
Sustaining lean, yeah.
Yeah. Again, look, for me, it's generating that level of buy-in across the organization and making sure that you have senior sponsorship for what you're trying to do. Because without that, and I know, Rob, you've probably seen this in your history as well. Like without that, you are kind of doomed for not getting it properly sustained. There will be a bit of kind of clamor behind the you know, the Kaizen event or whatever else, but in order to kind of get true adoption, you need that senior sponsorship.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And Rob, you actually were asking about trending KPIs.
Yeah, I suppose it's just something that's key to what we do is you know, the daily management boards and the KPIs, Connor, that you suggested. Yeah. But I suppose my question is, when you're getting adverse KPIs or the trend is going the wrong way, what do you do then to bring it back on track?
Well, typically, Rob, like anything, you know, you surface the problem. If there is a trend there, it's okay that the trend is there. The most important thing for a senior leader in particular, if you're kind of anxious about kind of showing that, is that you're doing something about it. So again, you do your A3, your DMAIC, or whatever kind of problem solving technique or tool is required to go deeper on that one, but and involve the right stakeholders then to kind of to show in credible terms what you're doing then about it as well.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, a PSR was kind of what I was thinking my own mind. Thanks, yeah. Connor.
So the next question we have is from Susanna, and she's talking about how do you actually marry agile and lean together in an organization, and does that actually work?
Yes, it does. In fact, I'm working in a financial services company at the moment, and a lot of their tools and I suppose methodology revolves around agile, around OKRs and that kind of stuff, and the language of sprints and so on. And
Yeah.
look, it's quite complementary actually. So like your Scrum is your stand up or your daily meeting, your all hands, making sure people are invested in the outcome as much as the problem. You know, we have Obeas in Lean. It's the same mentality in Agile. So like they're actually quite complementary. I think Agile by its nature is quite inclusive. So I think it can only be a good thing from a sustainability point of view. But I think they're quite complementary, and I think they can work together. Yes.
That's great. And then we have a question from Kevin Egan now about how do you actually, and I think that this might be design thinking or change management, I have no idea, but we'll go with your expertise here. How do you get actually resistant leaders to buy into the process of sustaining lean?
Yeah, and I think, like again, it comes back to the purpose. Like, if the purpose of the organization is aligned to ideal customer results, then who wouldn't want that in terms of an outcome? And that there is a kind of a commercial imperative here to do this. And I see Dermot from Stryker and a number of people on the call, Alan from Boston. I mean, these are mature lean organizations, no less than Robin in GE Healthcare, who have who have worn the t-shirt here in terms of it being a strategic imperative in their industries. What I would say is, particularly maybe for smaller industries, lean can seem quite hard, or a thing for not us. What I'm finding is that it's actually very transferable for every type of sector and every type of industry, regardless of size. And I think the more we can do as a community to kind of embed that and to shout about that is important. But look, hopefully that answers your question. But like for me, it's actually bringing people back to is a lean purpose delivers for the customer, not a strategic imperative. In my view, it is. Are you trying to talk there, Rob? You're on mute. Sorry.
We're having a lot of muting going on today. Just in the interest of time and being lean, there is some other questions which we might answer maybe offline or in the chat. First of all, I want to thank you very much for opening up a very important topic that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts here. Also, I suppose this forum for people that want to continue this chat. I think there's opportunity there. New people as well, if you'd like to join, we'll send out the link in that. Last, just two things very quickly. Our next event, as Ciara has shown there with Dave Clark about using data effectively, is sponsored with Aidan Kelly and the ICEB as well. So looking forward to that. And we're also hoping to have a network event before Christmas in the Republic of Work with a pizza, kind of a lean fun event as well. So it's a chance for us to meet face to face after COVID. And again, ICB are sponsoring that. So if you're interested in that, there's limited numbers, so you might let us know. So yeah, I suppose that's it for today. I'd be interested in actually talking to you sometime, Conor, about the whole Shingo aspect of how does that help create a lean culture as well. I know that's a bombshell now at this hour of the day, but yeah, thank you very much, and we hope to see you all again soon. And
perfect. And thanks, Rob. And what I'll do is I'll answer people's questions in the chat there. I'll stay on for another 10 or 15 minutes just to answer people's questions in the chat. Yeah, thanks, everybody. And
thanks, Conor. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Ciara.
Bye.
Thanks, Conor. Thanks, Rob.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks all.
The recording has stopped there, is it?